Hey, welcome back to our Achievement Hunter series aimed at barraging down the Stormwind gameplay achievements. We've composted all of the other class achievements from Warrior through Druid in previous guides, so this time we're in a Final Showdown with the Demon Hunter achievements. Let's get into it. This should be interesting. In today's video, we're covering the following 3 Demon Hunter achievements. Vengeance doesn't come cheap, ultimately training us to reduce the cost of cards by 1,000 using Kurtrus and his questline. Spam Collar, annoying us until we summon 75 persistent peddlers. And Drawing Frenzy, whipping us up into a Lion's Frenzy that does at least 10 damage in one attack. These don't require that we defeat our opponents to complete, so we can attack these from an outcast's position when it makes things more interesting or efficient. Every one of our guides includes timestamps for each achievement and deck codes for each deck mentioned in the description below, in case you'd like to skip to one you're looking for. Now, let's begin gorging on these achievements. First up, let's look at the one and done achievement for Demon Hunters, Drawing Frenzy. You'll need a copy of Lion's Frenzy to complete this one, so if you don't have it, you'll likely want to plunge into duels with a draw-heavy deck and hope you can pick it up off of one of the loot buckets, as it's doubtful that you'll get sufficient card draw to pull this off in Arena. If you're really lucky, it may be possible to get a copy of this equipped in a draw-heavy deck running Blingtron, or you could potentially steal the opponent's copy with Kobold Sticky Finger, but both will be quite challenging to do reliably. If you do have the Lion's Frenzy, any deck running cheap card draw and or soul fragment generators will help you pull this off without too much difficulty, as the soul fragments do count towards cards drawn as well. The deck we used to knock this out in Standard fairly early on was this Jace and the Lion Demon Hunter from HSReplay. It's a questline deck, so you can get progress towards the next achievement at the same time. And the discounts from Kurtrus make it even easier to play your heavy cycle cards, including Glide, so that your weapon will get to well above 10 damage quite quickly. After the nerf to Irebound Brute, this deck is performing a little bit below a 50% win rate, so we'll include a deck code for another questline Demon Hunter from HSReplay in the description in case you'd prefer to play with one that's been more recently refined. Though a number of the other decks we're introducing a little bit later in the guide are easily capable of pulling this off as well. Getting to 10 attack with your Lion's Frenzy isn't all that difficult, so if you're looking to completely blow this achievement out of the water with a fun deck, you might try this Lionhearted deck from MarkMcKz. The idea of this combo is to draw through all the cards in your deck and shuffle at least 30 soul fragments into your deck so that you can draw them all at once and attack with a Lion's Frenzy that does at least 30 damage. How in the world do you shuffle 30 soul fragments into your deck? You play Bran Bronzebeard and 2 Augmented Elix onto the board, then drop 2 copies of Spirit Jailer and a Soul Shear, which will shuffle in 30 fragments thanks to all the duplicating effects. You'll need at least 3 mana worth of discounts on the combo pieces from Emperor Thaurissan to pull off the full combo, assuming you equip Lion's Frenzy a turn early. But with Talon to pull him from your deck a little earlier alongside the ridiculous amount of card draw in the deck, it shouldn't be too difficult to discount at least 3 combo pieces with him. We nearly had a 3rd Spirit Jailer thanks to Philosophy from Illidari Studies, but we ended up playing it a little early to help us stay alive. Do you need to deal 30 damage with Lion Frenzy to complete this achievement? Certainly not. But if you're going after it, why not have fun taking it to the extreme? Good luck with your own Drawing Frenzy. Next up, we've got the final class achievement, which requires owning a questline card, or at least stealing a copy of a questline mercenary from your opponent. Vengeance doesn't come cheap. It's not possible to discover Final Showdown in duels, but it is possible to get in Arena. I'm not sure how often it'll be possible to get enough card draw to support the questline in Arena drafts, but if it is reliable, that may be the best alternate route, as 1,000 mana in cost reductions from Kurtrus's copied from the opponent will take a very long time to pull together. If you have the questline, there are quite a few decks that use it and the discounts very effectively, but the deck we're suggesting is this Fell Quest Frenzy, Zai Demon Hunter. It's the deck we used to knock out this achievement, and the one main deviation of the deck from a typical questline Demon Hunter running a Fell spell package alongside Jace is Zai the Incredible. The idea behind including Zai in the deck was to get an extra copy of Kurtrus before playing him out so that we could discount the cards remaining in our deck by 4 mana apiece instead of just 2. However, we rarely used Zai in that way. He often helped us get an additional card draw card to finish the questline faster, or drop an extra Jace or Irebound Brute to close out the game instead. But the option is there if you have Zai in hand when you get Kurtrus, and it feels like you can wait a turn before playing Kurtrus. One adjustment you could make to the deck if you want to prioritize making progress on this achievement over win rate would be to drop the Lion's Frenzy and Mancrick for 2 copies of Persistent Peddler. Apparently, drawing the cards with the discounts is sufficient to get progress. So, if you keep trading the Peddlers back into your deck and they keep coming back as 0 mana, you still get 2 cost worth of progress per time you draw them. Meaning that if you're facing a slow opponent after completing Kurtrus, you could potentially get up to 20 mana worth of progress in a turn by trading both copies of the Peddler into your deck back and forth. It's not something you'll be able to do often, but it is an option. Over in Wild, a questline deck with a decent win rate even after the nerf to Irebound Brute is this Consuming Frenzy deck from HSReplay. We initially thought to introduce it as a Lion's Frenzy deck, and it works well for that, but it's a strong deck for the questline as well. This list has an extremely low curve, and the only wild cards in the deck, Mana Burn and Consume Magic, allow you to disrupt your opponent's game plan while speeding through your deck and slamming Kurtrus onto the board. Even at 8 mana, it's not too difficult to drop 2 or even 3 brutes onto the board at once for a massive swing turn. Again, you could use the Persistent Peddler and Royal Librarian near the end of the game to keep stacking discounts for progress if you're looking to finish this achievement a bit faster. In the intro to this section, I mentioned that using a copy of your opponent's mercenary isn't a very reliable method of getting progress towards this achievement if you don't have a copy of the questline due to the sheer amount of discounts required to complete it. However, we'll go ahead and reintroduce the Who's Questline Rogue deck we've mentioned for a few other questline achievements here. In case you missed this deck in previous guides, the idea is to copy your opponent's questline mercenary with Plagiarize, Vanessa Van Cleef, or use Faceless Manipulator and Shadowstep or Tenwu. There are a few nice things about using this deck to copy the opponent's Kurtrus. First, it would be possible to get 2 copies of Kurtrus via the different methods based on timing. Second, bouncing Kurtrus will stack the discounts you can get. And third, the deck already has a relatively cheap draw engine built into it to help you draw into the discounted cards quickly. One adjustment I'd suggest if you're using the deck specifically for this achievement would be to drop Polkelt and another card or 2 for a few tradable cards so that you can do the same thing we mentioned earlier about cycling through tradable cards with growing discounts to get a bit of extra progress per game. It'll be a long fight if you decide to go this route, but it'll be possible to get sizable bursts of progress in games where you do succeed in copying Kurtrus. We haven't explored it yet, but now that Mindrender Elusia works differently, it may also be possible to use her to get a copy of your opponent's mercenary if they don't play it out right away. Since you're just playing a copy instead of their actual copy, they're less likely to concede, meaning you might actually get to draw a fair number of discounted cards. We'll look into that in the future, but for now, we don't have a recommended deck for that. I just wanted to mention the option here, as that's something new which could work. Finally, If you want to have fun and meme a bit while grinding through this achievement, a deck that uses the questline in a really fun way is this Alabaster Soul Quest Demon Hunter. The main reason we built this deck was to get insane value from Keymaster Alabaster and Glide. This is a combo we've been experimenting with during each achievement since the 2 cards were printed, and the discounts from the questline make the combo much more reliable to pull off than ever before. If you draw Keymaster early and he's blocking your outcast position, the soul fragments in the deck can still help you to complete the questline. Though an extra glide or 2 from Illidari Studies is rarely a bad way to knock out a stage and toss Alabaster back into your deck. We've got a gameplay highlight with the deck linked above and in the description if you'd like to see the deck in action. It's certainly not the strongest deck we've introduced for knocking out this achievement, but I think it's the most fun. And it's a nice way to spice up the grind. Best of luck making Vengeance come a lot cheaper. And now for the final class achievement until the mini set arrives. Spam Caller. For this one, we just need to summon 75 Persistent Peddlers. What's funny about this one is that although Persistent Peddler makes the cut in quite a few decks, not many of them actually choose to play her out, as she's more valuable as a guaranteed draw card from Tusk Piercer than a minion on the board most of the time. Still, we have to answer this spam caller, so let's look at a few options which do a good job with summoning her on the board. First up is this Pedal to Death deck. This is the deck we use to grind through most of the achievement, and although it's been a while since we played it, the win rate with the deck at that time was quite high. Zai the Incredible is in the deck this time in hopes of copying Persistent Peddler so that we can improve the number of peddlers we can summon per game by a little bit. Though getting an extra copy of Illidari Inquisitors with him doesn't feel bad either. Other than Zai, it plays out like just about any other Death Rattle Demon Hunter running an Inquisitor finish, which is probably one of the reasons the win rate was so high. However, if you're looking for a bit more of a recent build of Death Rattle Demon Hunter with a bit of data on HSReplay to help with the mulligan, this Fell Rattle Peddler deck goes with the Fell Spell mix alongside a Death Rattle package. It's touting a decently high win rate itself, and there's no hesitation to just play Persistent Peddler out if she joins your hand early on. The drawback of this deck is that the maximum progress you can make per game is 2. But it felt like the games with this deck also went a bit faster, so your progress per hour may be the same with this deck and the one we introduced a moment ago. Of course, if you're looking to summon more than a maximum of 4 peddlers per game, you could hop over to Wild and play this very persistent quest deck. The win rate of this deck was absolutely horrendous. But that was while Questline Warlock was still ravaging Wild. The win rate will almost certainly still be below 50%, but you should see some pretty quick progress with this deck since it runs a Baleful Banker as a way to shuffle extra copies into the deck, and N'Zoth the Corruptor will summon back as many peddlers as you've managed to kill off over the course of the game, assuming you have room. One interesting play after questline completion was actually shuffling a copy of N'Zoth into our deck with Baleful Banker, allowing us to summon a full board of peddlers alongside N'Zoth. We only managed to pull that off once, but it is a nice way to get a burst of progress towards the achievement. Good luck dealing with this spam caller as quickly as possible. And that's a wrap. If you found this helpful, drop a like. Placing your sigil of approval on this video can help it gain momentum and get recommended to other adventurers persistent enough to take down these achievements themselves. Until the mini set arrives, only the neutral achievements remain from United and Stormwind, and we'll be covering those as well, so check back soon or subscribe because there are a lot more demons to be slain by us in the coming weeks. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy participating in experiments live, check out our stream at twitch.tv/SSAlchemist. We currently stream on Saturdays and Sundays. And remember, you're awesome. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.